They really did us dirty for this Overlord collab. Not only can we not get the anime to return, but we also can't even get the games to be good. I genuinely don't understand why Isekai Memories would fuck up the Overlord collab the way that they did, but my god, I thought the idols were the worst thing ever. This is so much worse. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the DS Asylum. I'm your Ward of the Demetrius Shrine, and today, oh boy, do I have a video for you. So, Overlord. The Overlord collab has happened. The Overlord collab has had its units come out, and the Overlord collab has disappointed us in every fucking way possible. Now, let's just preface this by saying, are the Overlord units technically bad? By themselves, if you were to run the Overlord team in any event, would you win? Yes. It is not, the team is not so bad and the units are not so bad that you are unable to win with those units. They do not technically make the game any harder. But they are not as good or just as good as units that came out over a year ago. Like, Aletto is arguably worse than the Light 3.0 Raphael. Light 3.0 Raphael gave stun, stun strike, ult resistance down, and guaranteed pierce. Aletto gives stun, stun strike, despair, which gives a much lower ult resistance down and a useless ult gauge increase on greens. Now, I don't hate despair as much as other people, especially Joker. He really fucking hates despair. I don't hate despair as much as he does, but I'm also not going to sit here and tell you that it's a great skill. Like, I'm looking at despair through the lens of the green buff, not through the lens of trying to compare it to Vengeance, because quite frankly, I'm going to make a whole video as to why you shouldn't expect Vengeance or anything like it to ever come back, because Vengeance was a mistake, and I'm pretty sure the developers realized that it was a fucking mistake. So, don't fucking expect anything like that ever again. But that's for another video. So, Aletto is arguably worse. I just realized my camera's tilted, by the way, and you know what? It's gonna fucking stay like that. Aletto is arguably worse than a unit we got for 2023 New Year's. Fantastic. Also, Aletto does not have the luxury of being with another unit that makes it so that she can stun. Like, yeah, you can stun Leon, the current beatdown battle, but you probably won't be able to stun the next beatdown battle, so Aletto goes from being absolutely pointless to actually useless. Like, right now, having her is pointless. There's no point in using her. Once this beatdown battle ends, she completely loses any and all value at all because she won't even be able to do the one thing that she's able to do. Again, Raphael at least had Light Lumi with her so that if she was in a stage where she couldn't stun, she could still stun. Albeit by turn 8, but still. Aletto doesn't even have that. She doesn't even have turn 8 stun. If the enemy's immune to stun, her whole ass skill is just unusable. It's so bad. And then she has probably, I was hoping she'd have the worst despair skill, but she doesn't. Shaler has the worst despair skill because at the very least, if you have gotten to like later in the game and the unit you want still doesn't have like an EX ult or an ult or whatever, Aletto having increased ult gauge on greens can be the difference between your Ainz having an EX ult or a regular ult. Shit happens like that in this game, genuinely. So it very much could be the difference, especially if you're not running a unit like Mirai, who also does that. like, again, an increased ult gauge on green can very much be the difference between a regular ult on turn 8 and an EX ult on turn 8. So I will give her that. Situationally, her Despair is good. Shaltier's Despair is fucking useless just all around because Albetto's already giving you increased ult gauge on greens. Why does Shaltier, the AoE DPS, meaning the worst DPS, need to rush her own ult? Albetto's already rushing your ult. Why do you need to rush it more? And why are we rushing the AoE ult that's only going to be used in Sweaty Jubilee and Valor Cup instead of the fucking single target ult that is going to be used everywhere else? What's the fucking point in rushing the AoE ult? If I'm not trying to get top 5 in Jubilee or I'm not in Valor Cup, I'm not using the AoE DPS unit. I'm not trying to rush their ult. I'm trying to get my single target ult faster. So why does she have that? Why is she only giving it to herself? It makes no goddamn sense. And speaking of Ainz, he's competent, all right? He's a competent DPS at best. So he easily has the best Despair skill out of the bunch because protection gauge is always important no matter what team you're running, whether it be orange, green, or blue. Protection gauge is the most important aspect of the team. You need to be cycling protectors over and over and over and over again. Ainz lets you do that on a green team. His Despair skill is actually good. Like, I genuinely don't have a complaint with his Despair skill. He's given you that 5% ult resistance down. Do I wish it was like 10%? Sure, but whatever. The passive damage, I'm not even gonna lie to you, like, I've been trying to get crystals from like the expert mode to story mode because I try to save stages if I want crystals for later, and I was doing a bunch of those when I was trying to pull fucking Shizu, and honestly the Despair did save me from going an extra turn, so shit. In regular or early game content, it can still be useful, alright, so there's that. But Ainz is okay. Like, another thing that baffles me about the team is Ainz gives crit rate. No one gives crit damage. No one. Not any of the 5 battle units or the Protector. None of them give crit damage. No, Shaltier instead got an ult buff, which is good, and then an 80 can I help you train? And an 80% defense down buff. That sounds really good. And even I, stupid that I was, thought that at least 80% would be useful. I was already aware that defense down was a pretty garbage ability, but I figured 80% would be good, right? No? No, it's not. It sucks. It fucking sucks. And neither one of those go up to 100%, by the way. I thought one of them would go up to 100%. No, the ult damage just goes up to 80. Like we're still in fucking 2020. This game didn't even come out in 2020. This game came out in 2021. That's how outdated the fucking 80% ult damage is. It's so outdated that the last time we saw it was before the game came out. No, but that is literally pre 2-year anniversary. We are post 2-year anniversary, Bandai. You need to not have skills that are weaker than previous skills. Spitting everywhere. You can't release skills that are weaker than other skills, right? Jean, the DPS for the Visions of Coleus team, gives everybody a 100% ult buff on top of a synergy buff for herself. And if you're running a Primal Demon team, she gives Primal Demons a 70% EX ult buff and space resistance down. While restrictive, Jean is a better support unit than the entirety of the Overlord collab. The entire Overlord team. This 1 second anniversary DPS unit that came out like 4 or 5 months ago is a better support than the entire Overlord team put together. What the hell? Also, Speaking of Visions of Coleus, which, like Vengeance, is a team they've really tried to nerf into the ground ever since they came out, I genuinely don't think you've been able to use the team in a single beatdown battle since their release, which is fucking wow. Why did you even give us the characters if you were just gonna make it so that we could never fucking use them, by the way? Why? Like, I kind of understand nerfing them in the immediate beatdown battle, so you give people a reason to summon for the next banner. But it's been like 3 or 4 beatdown battles since that team released, and you haven't been able to use them in any of them. Because blues have been nerfed in every single one of them, and since they realized the Visions of Coleus team was still good enough to just run straight through that, Leon has synergy resistance. I'm not even gonna lie, they didn't even nerf Vengeance this hard. Their weird hate for the Visions of Coleus team aside, Violet. Sub DPS. Honestly, she's fully competent as a main DPS on any team you put her on. She has a phenomenal orb change and a 100% magic buff. Now, I'm going to say this. 100% magic attack for everybody is better than 70% magic for yourself and critical rate for one tag, one category. In fact, I'm pretty sure even with the critical, 100% magic attack is still just more damage than 70% plus guaranteed crit. I could be wrong. I haven't actually tested that. Maybe I should. But I actually think that 100% magic attack is just a higher amount of damage than 70 plus crit. So, and even if it's not, the difference can't be that big. So both as a DPS and a support, Violet is better than Ainz. Because even if she's not going to be the main DPS for the team, she can still support it because everyone gets that magic buff, and orbs are universal. If you're running a blue team, the blue orb change works. So I can compare any member of the Overlord team to any member of the Visions of Coleus team. Again, a team we got for like 4 or 5 months ago, and every single one of them is better. Every single one of the Visions of Coleus units are just better. But even within the Overlord collab itself, the Slime IP units are just better than the Overlord ones. Shizu is really fucking good. Now, my bias towards Weakness Strike aside, I personally don't think Weakness Strike is a good ability because unless you spend a shit ton of money on the game and have all the units, you only have a 1 in 7 chance every time you enter a stage where Weakness Strike is actually going to be useful to you. So, that's why I don't fucking like Weakness Strike. But my own bias towards it aside, Weakness Strike and ult resistance down on top of a triple ult swap to greens on one unit is really fucking good. Why didn't Shaler or Aletto get that? Why didn't the units that we're actually here for get that? Why did Shizu get that? Why didn't Shizu get the garbage stun strike? Why didn't Aletto get the triple ult swap? None of these units are coming back. It's not even like you could do the thing like that I argued with Shuna, where, you know, they gave those really powerful abilities to the slime unit because Shuna can come back. The idols weren't. None of the idols are coming back. The Christmas Shuna is coming back at some point. So, sure, give Shuna the synergy rate, the synergy resistance, and the double ult swap to greens because she's coming back, right? Shizu's not coming back because cosplay is copyrighted. since you can copyright cosplay, apparently, I keep making that joke in all of my videos. Again, I don't even pretend to understand how laws behind IPs work. I don't know any of that bullshit. I'm a gamer. I play the games. I don't make them. I don't fucking know any of that shit. But since cosplay is copyrighted, Shizu's never coming back. So what did it matter? Who had the better skills? Why couldn't that have been Aletto? I honestly don't even think anyone would be that mad if Shizu wasn't that good. If Aletto was really good and Shizu was trash, I don't even think people would be that upset. Because we get plenty of fucking Shizus. We have so many Shizus. We get so many Shizus. We get so many Lumis. We get so many Milums. If we get one bad Milum, one bad Luminous, one bad Shizu, no one's going to care. But Aletto, the character that will never come back in any way, shape, or form, part of a collab that many a person wanted for a very long time, her being garbage is a problem. Shaler being arguably worse. No, Shaler is much better. Shaler is infinitely better than Aletto. Because again, stun is only useful in like 20% of the game as it is. At the very least, while defense down isn't good, at least it actively does something in every fight. At least, you know, ult damage and defense down actively works. At least it functions in 100% of the game. Shit! Fucking voice crack there. I can't even. It's fucking... I haven't even talked about Rimuru yet, by the way. The protector. Every collab has a Rimuru protector. On one hand, I'm happy that Rimuru is as good as he is. I think collab protectors should be really good. They should be very accessible to newer players. And Rimuru is. Rimuru, I would argue that he might be the best of the three in terms of collab Rimuru protectors. You can argue idle with me, I'll listen. The idle one is a lot more generic. The idle one can be used with any team regardless of, you know, what it's like, and he can change all of your orbs to green, so he makes whatever team you're running a green team, so you don't even really need orb changers, provided you can use Rimuru. You don't have to focus on orb changers. You can have like one orb changer. Honestly, Mirai changes your future hand to greens anyway, so you'd just be using her. So, I mean, like, you could argue the Idolmaster Rimuru. Personally, I think the Overlord Rimuru is a bit better, simply because it doesn't matter what type of team you put him on. Like, you realistically could put him on a fucking burst team, and it would probably still work. Because he's buffing everything. Literally everything. Idol Rimuru is only buffing magic. Overlord Rimuru, magic or physical, doesn't matter. You want your DPS to be dark, space, earth, fire, water, doesn't matter. So, yeah, I think he's better. You know what? Argue with me about it in the comments. I don't fucking care. But the fact that the slime IP units, Rimuru and Shizu, are just better and more valuable pulls than the Overlord characters, the whole purpose behind the collab, is frankly insulting. And on top of that, the event management was really weird. We just got Predator Battle when Shaler came out, which is like, hello? Why? What? Why was Predator Battle not out like a week and a half ago? What the fuck? Whatever. Shaler's equipment is hidden behind this worldwide little event thing where we have to complete the stage. The whole world cumulatively needs to beat the stage 250,000 times, which isn't going to be hard. It's probably already been done by the time I finish recording this video, let alone by the time you've actually seen it. Like, all that's probably done, but it's the fact that, like, why? Why didn't you just give us the equipment like you did the other two times? You gave us, like, Shizu's equipment was in a shop, Ein's equipment was in Beatdown Battle, Aletto's equipment was in the bingo missions. Why didn't you just put Shaler's equipment in a shop? Or give us another set of bingo missions? Or what have you? Why do we have to jump through this stupid ass hoop to get Shaler's equipment? It's whatever. Like I said, it's probably already done before this video even gets done recording, let alone uploaded, but it's just the principle of it. Why are you hiding her equipment? Because let's say I did pull Shaler, well, now I just don't have any fucking equipment for her unless I want to make some for her. The fact that there are units that are over a year old, by the way, that are better fits for the team than the actual Overlord characters is ridiculous. Like, if you have Dark Milim, first anniversary Dark Milim skill fused, she is a better unit for the team than Shaler. And even if she's not skill fused, genuinely, even if she's not skill fused, you lose out on the 80%. You lose out on the 80% defense, which will lower your damage by like 3%. So fucking like 3 or 5%. Okay, and 10% alt damage. Fucking just put fucking Octagram Lumi on there. There you go. Make up for all of that. Genuinely, an unskill fused Dark Milim, and I put my arm in front of my light. It scared the shit out of me. A non-skill fused Dark Milim and a non-skill fused Octagram Lumi will do more damage than the new Shaler and Aletto combined. Oh. These two over-year-old units, not even with their skill fusions, will do more than the brand new Overlord characters. Just short up Dark Milim, bro. That's what I'm gonna do. I don't have, mine's not skill fused. Mine's only at level 84. But once I get to the hero rank in Valor Cup, which I didn't do last season because I got bored. Once I do that, I'll have enough shards to just get Milim from 84 to 100. I'm just gonna skill fuse her and just use her on the team because, like, I like Ainz. Ainz is fine. Like, is he the best DPS ever? No, but he's fine. He's good enough to use just if you like Overlord. If you like Bone Daddy Ainzul Gon, he works. He's good enough to just function, right? You give him decent supports. He's a competent DPS. So, like, summon for Ainz and Rimuru. Again, Ainz is competent enough, and Rimuru's really good. If you have crystals left over, summon for Shizu. Though, if you pull Rimuru before you pull Ainz, get Shizu and then go back for Ainz. In other words, go after the fucking slime characters first because they're better. So dumb. I've started repeating myself at this point. I think we can all just agree that the Overlord collab is a massive L. Units from well over a year ago outshine these new units. And yeah, some of them have skill fusions, but the fact that I literally just gave you an example of how two over-year-old units without their skill fusions would still would still allow Ainz to out-damage himself if he was with the two units he's supposed to be with. What do you want from me? Genuinely, what the fuck do you want from me? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think of the Overlord collab down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, do make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that join button if you can, it really does help the channel out. All the links you could ever want are in the description down below. And I will see all of you inmates back here at the asylum for the next video. Peace. They really did us dirty, this Overlord collab. Not only can we not get the anime to return, but we also can't even get the games to be good.